we got some Resident Evil news for you. All the current Resident Evil games. That
I'm
is.
excited for you to review this because I was out here trying to wear down this dog on a walk, and you text me and you're just like, "Yo, are you watching the showcase?"
Dude. Oh, so good. So, um, it kind of opens up, kind of giving you a preview of everything they're going to show. But for the most part, they start off with actually I just took some notes too. I'll pull out my notes here. So you're looking at my phone, but I promise I am looking at notes. So,
Show notes.
um,
Let's go.
yeah. So Resident Evil, they start off Resident Evil 8, kind of talking about Resident Evil Village a little bit. They are getting a gold edition that is actually dropping next Friday, the 28th of October. So very soon. The gold edition includes a brand new kind of DLC story that you can play through as the daughter of Ethan Winters, the main character of the game. Very exciting stuff there. The game will also now have a third person mode, which I think is pretty cool. I think it'll play surprisingly different. I feel like from the first person. So
Yeah, I think so.
so yeah, very excited for that. They are coming out with an RE-verse kind of multiplayer expansion type mode that is free if you own the game. So if you own our Resident Evil Village already, you get that completely free. There is actually going to be an early access October 24th, so next Monday. If you want to check out the early access for that, that's if you own the game. Very interesting thing I saw and describe a little bit more. I'll try and skim through this a little bit as I go too, because they spend a little bit of time on just the main thing, the main kind of DLC story, and talking about third person and how that is going to be and how it kind of influences another experience. Show off Reverse, but what I thought was really interesting is they bring in one of the people over at Apple, because there's actually a Mac version of the game that has been in the works
Oh,
for a few months
what's that?
now, and sure enough, it's the Mac version is coming out next Friday. So if you have a Mac and you're trying to
Wow.
into that, they said they optimized this version of the game to work with Apple Silicon, and you could play it on a Mac Studio. You could play it on pretty much anything. I mean, I'm just like saying, because he said that, I'm just thinking like, could you imagine playing this on like the Studio Mac, like the most high end Mac? Like it'd just be wild. Um, but yeah, it said you can play it on MacBook Air to MacBook Studio. It's pretty much everything. Yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, because I don't know how big of a market share Mac has in gaming. I know it's small, but like
Just so small.
I guess there's clearly enough of an audience that they felt justified to make a Mac version. It's very weird.
Um, well, first of all, do you know how development works with putting things on like the Apple Store?
Yeah, there's like
It's
walls and like
it's
everything.
so difficult.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
it's super challenging. You have to go through all these like rigorous like compliance thing, and you have to be super compatible. That's one of the reasons why like every single app that's on an iPhone runs immaculate,
yeah,
because it's like they're so controlled, and how
yeah,
like some apps on like a Droid run like crap,
yeah,
because like the Android marketplace or app store is just kind of like open. You can
yeah,
download, do whatever you want. But
yeah.
with Apple, it's not. You have to have basically a license almost to get on their store. And I think that might be one of the reasons why developers don't push stuff on Macintosh in general.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Fun fact, the original Halo CE Combat Evolved, was made for Mac until Microsoft bought it and put it on Xbox.
The rest is history, dude. The
Yeah.
rest is history.
But yeah, a little bit of fun fact a lot of people don't know, unless you're old. so so the thing is like I I don't know how much of a market share Mac has, like, in the PC gaming space, but
Yeah,
it can't be a lot. I don't know anybody that, like, seriously games on a Mac,
yeah,
because it's such a
yeah. I
challenge. You
mean,
gotta get,
I
like, a
don't.
Windows emulator or, like, Windows virtual machine in order to play games.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for real, for the most part. Um, yeah. I mean, there's some people that they'll just have like a MacBook for work and whatever else they do, and then they only have a PC
Yeah.
for gaming and like a Windows PC. So yeah, kind of crazy. But yeah, so Mac version is coming. That is next week.
Yep.
They also announced cloud versions of all their games that can be played on Switch, which is very
Yep.
interesting. So, if you're
Very
looking to play
cool.
Resident Evil on the Switch, there are cloud versions. There's a cloud version of RE Village that is coming next week is when it comes out. Funny enough, the Winters expansion, the DLC expansion I mentioned earlier, is actually coming in December, which is there's like a huge like gap there. I don't know why. But yeah, so you can get Resident Evil Village on the cloud next Friday, and then the expansion will come about a month after that. But on top of Resident Evil Village, they also announced they're bringing pretty much most of the catalog, and I skipped past it, but most of the everything from the Resident Evil 2 remake, the Resident Evil 3 remake, and Resident Evil 7 are all coming to the cloud over the next 2 months.
Yep.
Resident Evil 2 arrives on November 11th, Resident Evil 3 arrives on November 18th, and the Resident Evil 7 arrives on December 16th. So they'll all be playable on the cloud on Switch. Very
Yeah,
excited to
it's a
see how that
big
works.
deal.
Very excited to
Yeah.
see how this works. I think, yeah, it's a huge deal that they are bringing it to the Switch. I think the biggest thing, and one thing that they talk about, is they are going to allow game demo previews that you can play before you even purchase the game on your Switch, just to make sure your network is compatible and you don't have any hiccups. Because
Oh,
they,
that's such a good
yeah,
idea.
because they noticed and they thought like there's going to be a lot of apprehension for people like, can I actually play this on my network? So sure enough, I think the best idea ever is giving that consumer control of saying, here, try the game out on this demo. If it works, then you'll be good to go for the full release. But yeah, very
Yeah,
crazy.
I think I'll actually try that out.
Yeah, I
I think.
honestly I want to try out Village now on my Switch
Yeah.
and get the
Yeah.
demo. Actually, yeah, sounds like a good idea, right?
That's like a really good idea because the first thought I had too was like if it's over the cloud, like I'm always so concerned with just Nintendo as a console online.
Yeah,
Like they don't use Ethernet ports. The Wi-Fi like cards that they put in aren't that fast. It's like they max your download and upload speed out of the store like it's Xbox. Xbox is super egregious.
yeah,
But I mean like Nintendo's just lack of hardware. I swear they just don't care about
yeah,
online. They've
right,
never
yeah,
been about online. Um so for them to actually say like, okay, well, we'll give you an option to test it out, give it a shot, and if it works for you, then yeah, buy it. If it doesn't work, then you know
exactly.
your setup's capable of, which is so awesome. Man.
Yeah, yeah, it's super
So
awesome. I commend Capcom for doing this because
yeah,
this is something every developer should do in the cloud space. I feel like
that's a
so.
fact.
Um,
And I do think like these games, it's gonna be at 30 frames per second, but it's gonna be fine.
yeah,
Like I
oh
feel like
yeah,
this is gonna be perfect for a Nintendo Switch, and like I'm kind of excited.
yeah, yeah. I mean, dude, it's huge thing. Very much looking forward to that. So if you have a Switch, you may be able to play Resident Evil on the go if you have a good enough internet connection. That is. Um, Now we have to conclude with the biggest announcement of this event, the one that I was most excited for, and I messaged you. I was like, Mike, bro, you
Yeah,
watching this?
yeah. I need to see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got more news on Resident Evil 4 remake. That is correct. Um, so this is what they closed out with. They showed a insanely cool trailer and even some gameplay, which is very exciting. Um, and overall, I was like, all the news articles going into this was very much like, why are they remaking this game? The original is so good. What's the point in them like going back and this early and being like, hey, let's completely redo it? But it's like you see this and it's like you see the gameplay and you see the trailers and stuff, and it's like there's you really start to notice what they're capable of doing with today's like hardware that they of course weren't able to do back then. Like one of the big things, like have you ever played Resident Evil 4? Like,
I have not. I've only seen gameplay.
oh, dude.
Like again, it's these games that are only on PlayStation.
Yeah,
Like,
and
they're
I mean,
killing me.
yeah, I mean now it's on everything. So if you
Yeah,
like were to get
it's
it
on
on,
the
you can play,
way.
yeah, you can play it on anything. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I would honestly wait until remake if you really wanted to play it. But yeah, I mean, so the original game you had Leon's of course the main character, and you had Hannigan, which was like your like just like your agent. Like you were in the field, and she was the agent back, like doing all the work, like doing all like the reconnaissance for you. Um, in the original game, you were just talking to her. It was almost like it was very much like Metal Gear Solid, where you're talking to
Yeah.
what's face, and like it shows the screen, and there's like the two faces in the
Yeah,
dialogue.
I remember that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, that's very much in this game with Hannigan. So like you're talking with her and stuff like that, and you see faces, but that's about it. Well, like at least they're showing here in like the gameplay and stuff. Whenever you're actually talking with her, it's like a proper cutscene, and like you're seeing her like in the actual like facility, like typing away and like helping you out. And it's very much like there's just more to see, and there's like more they expand on that a little bit more in this game. So very excited to see how that plays. I'm just overall excited to see like the newer cutscenes in general because like everything is. they're keeping a lot of the main parts of the game, but from what we see in cutscenes, it's very much different, and so it's giving you a reason to go back and actually like try the remake because it's going to be different. So yeah, overall stuff like that makes me very excited. Graphics look great from what we see. It's that RE engine that just looks really good. But yeah, I mean, you fight the zombies too. There's like different moves and stuff now that they can do, and there's like different models and stuff now for the zombies. They look terrifying. Um, and overall, it just looks really good. They skip ahead. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. But yeah, so this is for those watching the video. This is kind of the cutscene I was talking about. He's talking to Han again through the earpiece, and you see her like it's an actual cutscene of her like, oh, let me figure this out for you. She's like rolling around and like typing and stuff. So there's
Rolls around in a
more.
chair,
There's like
Admiral Akbar.
yeah, and like to most people, it's like it's just a cutscene, dude. But like this is like if you played the original game, it's like stuff like little improvements like this are gonna be crazy to see. So, um, yeah, very much. They show you the main one of the main starting sections is when you find the church, like when you make it to the church and like you're fighting the village. They show the gameplay of all that of like going through. And there's the first boss of the game has a chainsaw, like he's like chasing you with a chainsaw and stuff like that. There's a lot different animations now and interactions with this boss. Looks like it's gonna be completely different now. Very exciting stuff there. But yeah, it's there's also just Leon with his quips and stuff like that, and just his corniness that I miss. So it'd be good to see all that. Yeah. Overall, as a Resident Evil fan and a huge fan of Resident Evil 4, very much looking forward to this remake. And trailer's got me proper hyped, man. Capcom knows how to release a game, and I will say, at least I always get, maybe I just get really lucky with Resident Evil releases, especially these remakes. But like Capcom tests their game, man. Like when I'm playing it, I'm not running into that many bugs, especially on release night, which is saying something. So, yeah, it's safe enough that a pre-order of this, I wouldn't be against a pre-order of this. Am I going to? Probably not. But if you wanted to pre-order it, I wouldn't be like, yo, you shouldn't do that. Because like I think this would be a pretty solid game. But I don't know. I'm excited. Like I don't even know, like huge on Resident Evil, but like just look at these graphics, dude. Like it's exciting stuff, huh?
Dude, it looks so nice.
It does, man. Oh, the proper gore too. Oh, baby. Very much, yeah. And here's the chainsaw, dude. The detail in the eyes now of the chainsaw boss is like so, like you can see so much more, and it makes it that more like just crazy terrifying. Because you just see like these two eyes just bloodshot through this bag. It's like, oh my god. Yeah. See, he's now defending himself. So you couldn't do this in the other game. Let me tell you, if the chainsaw guy got to you, he got you, bro. Like you couldn't get out of it. It was like instant death. And so now you can actually defend yourself with your pistol. So if he goes to actually swipe at you, Leon pulls out his pistol and grinds against the chainsaw with it. So there's like actually a chance to like save yourself. So pretty crazy stuff. There's gonna be a lot of new opportunity with this game. They also do like quick cutscenes. In the proper trailer, they also show like they show the inventory system. They show the shop, like the guy at the shop, the iconic shop. What are you buying? Like that guy. Like he's back, and like I don't know, the voice actors. It sounds great. It looks great. But yeah, they go through, and they also in the trailer they show like the iconic characters from the game and how different they look and how much more detail there is behind them now. Dude, this new engine's gonna make this game pop, and it's got me really excited. You know what the best part is, Mike?
What's that?
The release date, baby. Comes out March 24th, 2023. Oh,
That's not far at all.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's only like 5 months away ish, 5, 6. Super exciting stuff, man. Very excited. Yeah.
So I like what they're doing. Basically, they're trying to get new people into the IP, into the games
Yeah.
by like releasing everything and all the remakes before Resident Evil 4, and then you can like just keep going.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's such a good idea. Like get into this legendary franchise.
Yeah. Because I mean that's the thing. They have the remakes of the first game, the first remake. Well, I think the only remake of the first game was on GameCube. That game looked really good for its time. And yeah, they remade 2, looked fantastic. They did 3. There was much more to be desired with 3. I felt like. I mean, it still was a beautiful game, but there was a lot they left out in 3, and it was a really short game. And now they're bringing back 4, which is arguably one of the best, and it had the biggest shift of the gameplay. 4 was the first game that introduced over the shoulder for the franchise, and it was very much like people were like, "What is this? Why isn't this tank controls? Like, what's going on?" But dude, I mean, they pivoted and it worked. It's like it's a classic game now, and it's been re-released on everything like Skyrim. So it's out there. Um, Another thing too about this remake, funny enough, it's on PS5 and PS4, but it's only on Xbox Series X and S. It's not on the original Xbox or like the One X. It's also coming out on Steam for PC. But yeah, very odd that PlayStation gets like, I guess there's just some limitation there with Xbox that they couldn't meet, so that's why they didn't do the old gen Xboxes. But yeah, it's on last gen PS4, so very interesting choice.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. Well,
um,
I feel like Xbox has kind of just started slowly abandoning the Xbox One after the Series X and S came out. They really stopped pushing like updates
yeah,
to the
yeah.
software.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it would make sense, I guess. But yeah, they also said what's really cool, and one of the reasons I love Capcom is because if you buy the game on PS4, you get a free upgrade to PS5 in the future.
oh,
So,
that's awesome.
so yeah, if you get PS4, you can get the enhanced, PS5 version for free. It's a digital version, of course, but I mean, hey, free upgrade, which is pretty nice. Um, so yeah, but it's also, of course, coming out on PC on Steam. So, very exciting stuff there. 2 editions. Capcom loves their deluxe editions. They have a deluxe edition with in-game skins, guns, that is a little bit extra, and then they have a collector's edition, which their collector's editions always go hard. This is no exception. You have a Leon S. Kennedy death statue, including a map of the game. You get the DLC packs from the deluxe edition. You get the soundtrack. You get an art book. You get like a box, which looks really interesting. It's like a very like it's like a Resident Evil kind of style box.
Yeah.
That looks really cool. So yeah, I mean, you get a lot. You get a lot with this, and if you pre-order even the standard edition, you get a gold case in game for your inventory. You also get a little, you get a weapon charm too of handgun ammo, which is pretty funny. Yeah, overall, very very interesting stuff. And yeah, so you can get a green herb thing. It is like very 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 pre-ordery. There's not really much to offer there, but yeah,
Oh yeah. I
overall,
mean every single game that does pre-orders now, they're like, okay, you want a desk figurine and in-game charms. It's
yeah,
like it's like almost
yeah,
guarantees now.
yeah, very much. But yeah, so I mean, that was the last thing they showed though. The Resident Evil showcase. Very exciting stuff for Resident Evil 4. Very much looking forward to that. Could be my game of the year. I'm not gonna speak too early, but
That's bold.
Resident Evil 8 smacked, Mike. I don't think you understand. I don't know if
Jeez,
I played.
game of the
I don't know if
year,
I
he
played.
says.
Then again, I don't know if I played much else. So my game of the year is always kind of lackluster because there's a lot I just unfortunately miss. So it's like